America has just delivered a brutal wake-up call to its closest allies. In the middle of the war in Ukraine, while Europe struggles to stay unified and protect its own continent, the Trump administration made a move that shocked diplomats across Brussels, leaving European allies feeling ignored, sidelined, and openly humiliated. On December 4th, in Miami, just a few miles away from Donald Trump's residence at Mar-a-Lago, two of the president's closest envoys, Steve Witkoff and Trump's own son-in-law Jared Kushner, held a confidential meeting about the Ukraine war. In that meeting, they sat down with Ukraine's chief negotiator Rustem Umerov and the Ukrainian military's top commander, General Andriy Natov. But here is what stunned Europe: they were never invited. Not a single representative from the European Union, no NATO officials, no European diplomats, nothing. The meeting was designed that way, deliberately, and the message was unmistakable. This secretive meeting in Miami happened immediately after Witkoff and Kushner returned from Moscow, where they had met directly with Vladimir Putin. A private, closed-door session with the Russian president, without Europe, without NATO, and without any transparency. And to make matters worse, the negotiations didn't lead anywhere. Putin refused to soften his position. He maintained aggressive, maximalist demands that would effectively force Ukraine into surrender. But what is worrying Kyiv and Brussels even more is not Russia's position, it is America's. US representatives appear to be negotiating a separate peace pathway, crafted exclusively between Washington and Moscow, with no involvement from Europe, even though the war is happening on European soil. Then came the leak that turned the situation explosive. Just hours after the US delegation met Putin, Kirill Dmitriev, a longtime Kremlin insider and close advisor to Putin, posted details on X. He claimed the document discussed was a 27-point peace proposal, almost identical to a 28-point plan leaked earlier in November. A plan that strongly favored Russia's demands. The revelation left European governments stunned. They asked, why was Trump's team discussing a peace plan with Moscow before even informing European allies? Why was the Kremlin revealing details before the United States did? To European leaders, it suddenly became clear. Washington wasn't just ignoring them, it was actively bypassing them. This is why Europe feels betrayed. For nearly 2 years, European nations have carried a massive share of the burden in supporting Ukraine. They have provided billions in weapons, accepted millions of refugees, endured an energy crisis, and dealt with economic consequences across the continent. And despite all of that, the Trump administration appears to be conducting parallel negotiations, without coordination, without partnership, and without respect for the sacrifices Europe has made. Many European diplomats now fear that Washington is preparing to pressure Kyiv into accepting a deal that would compromise the country's sovereignty, a deal Europe does not support. And if such a deal is pushed forward, the consequences could be historic. Europe may lose influence over a war happening on its own continent. Ukraine might face pressure to accept an unfair peace. Russia could regain enormous strategic leverage. And worst of all, the unity of NATO could fracture at the most dangerous moment since the Cold War. This is not just about one meeting in Miami. It is about a shift in global power, a warning that Trump's foreign policy could reshape the Western alliance in ways Europe never expected. Europe is furious. Ukraine is anxious. Russia is watching closely, and the United States appears to be rewriting the rules of the game. Will Trump move forward with his own peace plan? Will Europe respond with diplomatic pressure of its own? And what does this mean for the future of the Western alliance? One thing is certain, the war in Ukraine is no longer just a conflict on the battlefield. It has become a test of loyalty, trust, and leadership between America and Europe. And this story is far from over. It is only just beginning.